As you may know, I'm an avid reader and have even tried writing a few books but never get very far before getting distracted and not finishing them. Even so, it must be great as an author to have your creation turned into a film, but sometimes the resulting film isn't quite what you hoped for, so we're going to have a look at 5 films where the author weren't exactly pleased with the films, starting off with A Clockwork Orange. I'm starting with this because the author of the book, Anthony Burgess, did like the film originally, but he had a lot of negative thoughts towards it, saying it was a good film though boring in places, but it should have been more violent because only by piling on the violence could the absurdity of violence be shown. We should have been able to reach a stage in violence where we were just laughing at it. This is what I tried to do in the book. I haven't seen the film or read the book, but seeing as the film was hugely controversial when it was released in 1971 due to the violence, for the author to say it should have been even more violent makes me wonder what the hell happened in the book. Burgess ended up hating the film so much, he later said he regretted writing the book, saying the film made it easy for readers of the book to misunderstand what it was about, and the misunderstanding will pursue me till I die. I should not have written the book because of this danger of misinterpretation.
Aggressive, young, bold, vicious. He'll do.
Tales from Earthsea, based on aspects of the Earthsea book series by Ursula Le Guin. I have read the books and in my review I mentioned it was the Studio Ghibli film that made me want to read them, and I did enjoy them as well as liking the film. When the film was first released, Ursula seemed to like it, saying, "It is not my book, it is your movie. It is a good movie." But then, just like with Anthony Burgess and the Clockwork Orange film, later expressed huge disappointment in the film, saying it was like watching an entirely different story confusingly enacted by people with the same names as in my story. She thought the film's excitement was focused too much around scenes of violence, it was changed to be a bog standard good guy versus bad guy story, and ignores a lot of the book's world, which I can certainly understand. There's a scene in the film where Tenar mentions she's known Sparrowhawk since he rescued her from the tombs of Atuan, which is the plot of the second book, and it's a very good book, but nothing is mentioned about it again. Even so, in a world filled with magic and dragons, even the books felt as though there was so much more to the world that was never explored. So if the books didn't properly explore the world and the film didn't properly explore what was in the books, I can see why Ursula would be disappointed with it, but I still think it's a good film. Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. We're looking at the 1971 film based on the Roald Dahl book Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The film is an absolute classic, but Roald Dahl had nothing positive to say about the film. He even hated Gene Wilder playing the role of Willy Wonka because he gave the character a too happy and bubbly personality and would have preferred Spike Milligan to play the role. There were multiple changes he hated, like the Oompa Loompas being changed because of racist overtones in the book, Slugworth being changed to give the film a villainous character, he hated the majority of the songs, and scenes like the fizzy lifting drink all annoyed Roald Dahl, which ended up causing him to hate the film so much he disowned it and refused to let them make a film of the sequel book Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. The Shining, based on the book by Stephen King, who mainly hated it because he thought it told the wrong story, being more about Jack Torrance's insanity rather than the evil of the hotel. In the book, which I have read, Jack is struggling with his demons, but the hotel makes it harder and harder for him to ignore them. Jack tries to redeem himself towards the end, whereas in the film he's clearly nuts from the start, and it's more a matter of when he'll be pushed over the edge rather than if. King also said that Shelley Duvall's portrayal of Wendy made her, and I quote, "one of the most misogynistic characters ever put on film. She's basically just there to scream and act stupid, and that's not the woman I wrote about." I actually didn't like the book, but then I'm a fan of the film. At least Stephen King was more positive about the Dr. Sleep film. The Never-Ending Story, finishing with such an amazing film based on the book, and I'm sorry for butchering this, Die Unendliche Geschichte by Mikhail Endo. The book was hugely successful and the film was met with critical acclaim and is still massively popular, but Mikhail described it as revolting and saying the makers of the film simply did not understand the book at all, they just wanted to make money. He described those bare-bosomed sphinxes as one of the biggest embarrassments of the film. Even though Mikhail was involved with the script of the film and acted as an advisor, it seems as though the director, Wolfgang Petersen, secretly changed the ending. Mikhail said, "I saw the final script 5 days before the premiere and only as a result of a judicial verdict in Munich. I was horrified. They had changed the whole sense of the story. Fantasia reappears with no creative force from Bastian. For me, this was the essence of the book." He hated the film so much, he had his name removed from the credits. So there we go, 5 films based on books that their authors hated. Luckily, it's not all bad, as there are also a lot of instances where the author did like the films, so come back soon for that. Until then, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.
This is the never-ending story.